ॐ भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, Thou abidest in all, Thou art all, Thou assumest all forms, Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss. Salutations unto Thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. So, dear friends, let us begin with a meditation. Let us feel our innermost true being. Which is infinite, beyond time, space, and causation. And thus is also beyond multiplicity. It is same in and through all the bodies. It works through all bodies, through all minds. It alone is. Let us feel that I, in my true nature, is in all bodies. Just as the same substance is in all animal crackers, so also the same one conscious being, the One Self, is in all bodies and beyond. Om, peace, peace, peace. Om, Atma me shuddhyantam jyotiraham viraja vipapma Bhuyasagam Swaha. May my physical being become pure. I am the self-effulgent, shining being, free from all impurities. Om Antaratma me shuddhyantam jyotiraham viraja vipapma bhuyasagam swaha. May my psychological self become purified. I am the self-effulgent, free of all impurities and sins. Paramatma me shuddhyantam jyotiraham viraja vipapma Bhuyasagam Swaha. May my causal body, the soul, be purified. I am the self-effulgent, free from all impurities and sins. Shining in the pure effulgence. Om, peace, peace, peace. The topic today, friends, is a rather difficult one. It is not possible to use our regular language to communicate all that I would like to communicate. And also, therefore, I do not expect that everybody will agree with me. In fact, I will not be terribly surprised if nobody agrees with me. Because the topic, the understanding of it, very heavily depends on how much we are able to disidentify with body. The identification with body, although completely irrational, illogical, is so deep-rooted that we cannot really think of ourselves separated from the body in our waking state. We get, right now, I hope most of us are in waking state. All of us are in waking state. Are you in waking state, Vittal? Okay, yeah. So, it is, yeah, exactly. Some are on that level. So, anyway, what happens is in waking state, we get identified with the physical body. And lose that awareness that I am not the body. And therefore, to feel this topic becomes difficult, to understand it becomes very difficult. So, therefore, I just am very humbly suggesting to try to pay attention to what I am saying, and this topic is very helpful for the understanding that we are not body. It is very easy to prove, and we have done it very often here, that we are not body. The body changes and it is, I am still the same. The body is lying on the bed. We are at so many different places. It need not be lying on the bed. Even when we are sitting here and we are awake, still we are not there where the body is. Like in the class, we are all physically sitting there in the class. We are not asleep. But are we there? Yes and no, we are not there. Had we always been there in the class where the body is, if I also am there, then my understanding would have been so good, so fast and so clear. But what happens is, the body is sitting there. I go out somewhere, like your cars or whatever vehicles, they are sitting out there. Are you in the car? You are not there in the car. Are you, Naomi, in your car? No. The car is there. But Naomi is here. Now she is in another small car called body. She parks it on the chair there. I am taking her example because she will not get upset with me. It is same with everybody. It is. But now what happens? That car gets parked on the chair, and then she is not there. When I notice, it gets noticed that somebody is physically there, but not actually there. Then I call the name, hey, and then the alarm as it were rings, and she comes back to the car. Yes. So that is how we can easily see that we are not body. Many examples can be given. I had given many earlier here. But this is important, and this knowledge can come by understanding this phenomena, which is not very uncommon and not very common either. And many psychiatrists, neurologists, they have been struggling to understand it. There are a lot of that fiction stories also are woven around it. And the picture that you see here, that is only imaginary picture. Actually, in sleepwalking, it doesn't happen like that. The eyes are quite wide open. There is no confusion about it. It is the person is there using the body is functioning as a normal body. But strange things are seen. That sleepwalking is from ancient times. This phenomena is known and has been studied by psychologists for centuries now. There have been cases that have been noticed. The facts have been there to, for everybody to see. And they are seen strange, very difficult to explain. And, friends, there is a deplorable tendency in people, even including scientists, that whatever they cannot explain, whatever they cannot understand, that is just brushed aside. Oh, that happens very rarely. It is just in the early childhood, maybe for a little time being. And thus that is brushed aside because they are so occupied with many other commonplace, more understandable problems. Since this is very difficult for the Western psychology to come to grips, all explanations that are given are either brushing it aside or, it is this, speculative. What is necessary is trying to analyze thoroughly how this person, how that person is functioning through the body. There are many layers, many different machines of completely different planes of function is involved in the functioning of this body, using it by a soul. We always know that there is a soul. Even when somebody says, no, there isn't a soul, that is only another way that I mentioned, that because we cannot explain where it is and how it is, how much is the weight of it, what the color it has. Since we cannot tell that, the easy thing is to, brush it aside. There is nothing like that. Don't think about it. It's useless to think about it. So, but the problem remains. Do you mean that these bones strung together and all that is the physical parts put together, does it function on its own? Obviously not. It cannot function on its own. There is something that powers it. Actually, in last few decades, the discussion of this topic has become easier because of the analogy of computers. Everybody more or less uses computers. So they understand that a computer with all hardware intact there functions because of a software loaded on it. The different softwares loaded, they makes the computer function differently. In fact, what gets called as hardware only facilitates the expression of the software. So, this software is something that you cannot see by your eyes, you cannot touch by your hands, you cannot tell what color it has, you cannot tell how much is the weight of it. It is information. That is the word used for it. You cannot say that the weight of this particular program is 1 pound, that another program weighs 3 pounds. There is no weight as such to it. It occupies space. It is given that it is so many gigabytes space. But that is a figurative, that kind of expression. It is not a physical space that it is occupying. It is, so in which room can I put it? No, that room also will have to be a virtual room, not a physical room. So we are getting some, common people also are getting understanding. And then, now I am giving a very commonly used technique of, like, you see, one printer can be used by multiple computers, which are, earlier they used to be connected by wires. Now they are connected by wireless. We also have, printer here, which gets used by many computers. So it is, so when Abhijit is printing some envelopes there, he tells me, don't send another print there, because, it will, that setting is different. So your setting will not, you will print, instead of on a paper, you will get it printed on some envelope, all in a distorted way. So now the two printers are printing. Now one printer, that also can happen. Many different printers can be connected to the same computer. What I mean is that when you understand that you are not the body, when I am not the body, I can, in principle, use multiple bodies. There is nothing that is against it. If I am tied and welded to one body, that is a different thing. Then it becomes a body-mind tied together. But we see that they are detachable. And so, there is nothing that can stop one soul from using another body if it gets the access. The access is important. If it doesn't have the access, then it cannot. Like somebody to use our printer here has to have the access to the network. Then it can use it, otherwise not. The location as such doesn't matter, the access matters. Like I was in Australia and with my phone, I could print something here. It is, why it is? Because the physical location there has nothing to do with it. It is the access. That is how these days people are working remotely everywhere because of COVID. Now they are accessing their work from a very different location. So similarly, the same one body could be accessed. Let us see that what we call as our personality. There is this soul, this self, which is described here, shown here as the sun, that it is the illuminator. It is the conscious entity. Now this conscious entity, it is, now you have the different bodies there, the gross body. Please, these figures, don't think that they look like that. It is just, you may ask, how do you know it looks like that? A gross body, at least, that has some similarity. But the others are just as indicator, it is like you would say that in algebra, let this be, say, x. Now that doesn't mean that is x as such, but for dealing, for our understanding, we have taken that symbol. So, there is this gross body which we are aware of with the gross sensory motor organs installed on it, like the eyes, the ears, the taste, this sense of smell, the sense of touch. It is all installed on this gross body. Although it is not gross, it is installed on it. Now, this is the gross body. Brain is also part of the gross body. It is hardware. Now, what is happening? How it gets powered? That is called the subtle body. That is the, we will use later the word mind just to make the things simple. But what it has is the Vedanta, where you will find in Vedanta, those who are interested, I would suggest read. Many books are there. One I love because of the simplicity of it is Mind According to Vedanta by Swami Satprakashananda. It is, so Satprakashananda's books are pretty profound in content, but his style is putting things in a clear-cut and simple manner. I love that. So it is, so you can study that very small book, not a big book. So it gives you these ideas that how this subtle body is consisting of. It consists of our vacillation, the various things that come to our perception. That it provides a kind of, the versatility. It is called in Sanskrit, the various possibilities are getting thrown. Sankalpa, vikalpa. Is not. Is not. This can be this. This can be this. This can be this. Sankalpa, vikalpa. Yes and no. This or that. So, all these possibilities are thrown by this function called manas. That it is, and then there is another function of determination. Which one? Like from the distance I saw something, some person is going, maybe Ajay, maybe Rajgopal, maybe our Richard, who is that? Not very clear. Maybe this, may not be this, it is because, but as I come closer, then I make a determination. It is Richard. And then that faculty of determining, coming to conclusion, is called their buddhi. The word gets used, please don't confuse, because the same word gets used to connote some very different ideas too. So, buddhi is the determining faculty. So, now what happens? Then there is this storage. How buddhi determines? By comparing. That is how I determine that it is Richard and it is not Ajay. It is not Rajgopal. How do I determine that? Because I have the images of the three stored because of my past perception. If I had not, if that person is someone whom I never have met, then I will not be able to know what I may say, that, well, you look very much like Richard, but you are not. So, it happened once, there is a nice joke they tell, that a man, hey Tom, oh, I am sorry, you look just like Tom. The other person just wanted to make a fun out of it. Oh, well, or it is possible that somebody like me you had called Tom, and somebody like, like somebody Tom looked like me. Confusing. You might have seen somebody like Tom, and now you are attaching my name to it. And the other said, or maybe somebody like me might have seen somebody like Tom. So it gets rather funny at that level then. So it is, then that is the memory function, the storage, through which these images are taken out and compared with each other. And when you see that the features of Richard match with what I am seeing now, then say, yes, this is Richard. When the identification is not very clear, especially like I am developing a little cataract in the eyes. So now as if it becomes pronounced, then you make mistakes about identifying a person because they exact those features are not perceived by the eye. So that storage, that is called chitta in Sanskrit. It is a storehouse of memories. And there is the ego, it is the name given to that function is ego, who is handling that handling entity, that handle that moves through all this is called ego. This is what is called the internal organ coupled with the sensory and motor organs. It becomes what is called subtle body. So it is that is operating the gross body. But there is another body that is called causal body. This causal body, it has no specification whatever as such. It is, and then there is this soul, which is functioning like this. Now the soul actually in its nature is all-pervading, is beyond any attribute, is everywhere. In fact, it is not in space, the space is in it. So that is all-pervading self. That self, through ignorance, imagines oneself in a point that imagination makes this separation as I and the world. I and the world. And that separation is this causal body. This separation, I and world, which itself is an erroneous separation. It is not in reality. This erroneous separation is the causal body. And then because of this erroneous separation, there are the desires. The desires then need for their fulfillment instruments. To do something you require instruments according to what you want to do. So therefore, as per desires, the instruments, the subtle body and causal body gets made for this soul. Now, the gross body is short-lived, and also it is subject to, disrepair, sickness and all that more often, much more. And then, therefore, the gross body falls off. And that requires a lot of, as such, separation. Therefore, we see that this gross body is separated from the other things like soul, causal body, and subtle body. All the time it is getting. So, especially in times of sleep. Sleep. Now, that what happens there? The connection of the soul plus subtle and causal body with the gross body is loosened. Therefore, at that time you are not in control of gross body. You are not aware of what the gross body is doing. How many times did you turn the sides? I was not controlling it, it was happening. Did you breathe heavy? I don't know. It is therefore an instrument is kept, to monitor the sleep. It is that some Fitbits and such instruments also are able to do it these days. That how much sleep you actually got. Because you are not conscious of it. Your subtle body, causal body and soul have kind of separated it. You are not in control of it anymore. When you are awake, you say, come on, let me go to Vedanta society. And then the gross body, driven by these other components, subtle and causal and body and soul, that drives the gross body to this place. In sleep, does it happen? No. So only subtle body goes and experiences various things. That is what one calls dream. Dream is when this gross body is not functioning. It is this subtle and causal body. With that, the soul is experiencing the dream world. And the gross body is unaware of it. So, what happens when one sleeps? Because this control is not there. Now, the other soul has chance to using its subtle body, causal body, subtle body, it can use this gross body then. And so, it wakes this body as it were. Means starts using it. Starts using it. In many cities, big cities like New York, the taxis are plying all the time. Now, what they do is that same person cannot use it all the time. And there are other people who can then make money on that particular car, so they divide. There is no stealing required for that. There it is decided that, okay, I will use it during the day hours, you use it during the night hours because I am not working at that time. And you want a job, you go to school during the daytime. Many students, especially coming from the other countries, they did this, that daytime go to schools, and then at night take a taxi and drive. Now that taxi is not used by the other person at this time. So this person gets to use it exactly when this gross body is not being used by you. I am saying you as if thinking that you are the owner of it. When it is not being used by you, somebody else goes and uses it. And then that gets called as sleepwalking. Do not get fooled by such, pictures, imaginary pictures, that the eyes are looking like that. Or no. One very big mistake that many psychiatrists have committed, which is completely against the actual experimental and experienced facts, is that no, in sleepwalking a person cannot really perform the complicated actions. Completely, absolutely false statement. I am telling it from my experience, friends. And then that was actually the reason that my interest got aroused in this. We used to have a worker who used to stay at our center in Nagpur. There was a wonderful worker. And then he had this problem. We call it problem, but that was how suddenly he had, there was another worker, he and this worker were sharing the room. He told that, look, he gets up at night, goes out. Now to go out, he had to open 3 locks. One was not a lock actually, the door bolt from inside. He had to open that. But then he would go out, he had to unlock 2 gates to get out using exact keys. Firstly, he had to take the keys with him. Isn't it a complex function? Then use the exact key to open those locks. Go out. Walk on the streets. Come back after a couple of hours or so and sleep. Hey, where did you go last night? He would just laugh, where did I go? I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere. I was sleeping here. No, you got up and went out. No, I didn't. So, his roommate and others proved it, that you did go out. See, when we went to bed yesterday, there was no rain. Then the rain came, and then you see, your mud-soaked footprints are, coming in. They were not mud-soaked as you went out. So you went. So he would feel, I don't know anything. Sorry, I have no memory of it. Absolutely, I'm blank on it. Naturally, because, we see that just as one printer can be used by various computers to print unrelated, diverse things, just as the same printer can get used by multiple computers to print completely unrelated, diverse documents, so also one gross body can and actually does get used by multiple souls with their subtle bodies. This is happening. In case of everyone it is happening, but why everybody is not sleepwalking? Because that sharing is well known. And then therefore at the night the body is not used by anybody. None of these. And so therefore you do not feel it. But you see at other times therefore you suddenly see that a person is acting a bit strange, was behaving in this way. Now he is behaving in this way. There are therefore the change of moods, as it were, inexplicable. inexplicable. So there are the different subtle bodies which could be sharing the same gross body. Let us remember it, that since they are detachable, there is nothing against this. It is, you cannot say that it can never happen. Even if it is difficult to prove that it is happening. I agree. In the beginning I told that many of these things, they cannot be explained in our language, because the problem is our gross body experience, our understanding, our language, all that is processed and filtered through our brain, which is functioning on a very limited level. At the subtle body level, this brain is not being used. This brain is not getting used there. It is therefore, the limitations of this brain, and therefore the limitations of this logic. Our logic, although we think that it is a great thing, it is, but still it is very, very limited. Its understanding scope is not much. Logic is a very narrow thing. Its understanding, it skips most understanding and knows very little. I don't want to get involved into the mathematics of that logic thing, but therefore, the artists have to take other route to show that it is not logical, but it is. Things need not be logically correct, and yet they are true. Therefore, Harry Potter had to take the train at platform 9 3/4. There is no possibility of platform 9 3/4, friends. It is all just logically that doesn't happen, and yet it happens. So that is how it cannot be explained logically. Our logic works by putting the facts in a sequence, one after another. And then that is the limitation of it. It works what gets called as only a linear way of working. Beyond that, it doesn't have scope. Even, when I am seeing the whole picture, it is a one perception of this hall, so many people. When I am to tell you that who attended today's class, I will have to enumerate one by one. And it becomes a line, a sentence, so many. So, that is the problem of how our brain functions and our language functions. And therefore, because of those limitations, I will not be able to express everything that one can feel in meditation by contemplation in proper words. But then, that is, and very naturally, that this, just as, one computer does not know what another computer is printing. Same printer is used, but has no knowledge, like I don't know what Abhijit has printed on that printer. He is using another computer, but using the same printer that I am also using. So, and then it puts in sequence. The document, if my document is there first, then my document will get printed, his document will wait in the sequence will get printed later, or if his comes first, mine will be queued after that. So it is like that, but what his document is, I don't know. So exactly what one subtle body has used his gross body for, they do not, the other soul, other subtle body has no way of knowing. Therefore it says, no, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. If somebody, imagine, catches me, hey, we saw this on your printer, what have you been printing? I don't know. See, this is the document that you printed. You will be arrested for that. No, I don't know, I didn't print it. I didn't print it, that's true. I have no knowledge of it. Is it not your printer? Yes and no, because somebody else also can use it. So, and suppose if it is in an open kind of network, you don't require password. Somebody on the street can connect his or her phone and print something on this machine too. So, this gross body, if now here comes the point of protection, I will come to that, although we don't have much time. So, one soul is sleeping, but the body is now used by another one. And many crimes have been committed. And in some of those cases, there are at least, there was some record 49 such cases are there in the criminal history in US, that where the defense has used that the offender that you have caught is actually in the habit of sleepwalking. He has been treated for this purpose, and so he actually didn't commit it. He actually didn't commit it. Somebody else used his body to commit this heinous crime. And sometimes that defense got accepted by the jurors, sometimes not, depending, how they thought about it. Sometimes, and in one court case, I was surprised to say, one psychiatrist was brought by prosecutors who said categorically, such complex functions cannot be performed in sleepwalking, which, well, not true at all. Very complex functions can be performed. That person can drive car, stops at the red light, does not. Isn't it a complex function? See the red light stopping there, goes to the exact place where he or she wants to go, does not go to some other place, parks right in the parking lot, is not confused about it. So, complex functions do get performed. Now, it is a different question that when a crime gets committed in this way, should that person be liable for punishment or not? Well, yes and no. Even though the crime might not be committed by that person, his body has been used. So, like somebody used the gun of some other person to shoot somebody. Now, the one who shot is certainly responsible for shooting, but the other person, how did you give the gun to that fellow? It was your responsibility. That weapon is licensed in your name. You should have kept it in proper custody. That is your fault. So this person also would get committed, get some blame, not of murdering, but of not preserving the weapon that is in his name. So, we should take care of the body, not let us not share with others. That is an exciting topic. How shall we not lend this body to be used by some evil agents? Instead, we can actually lend it to the saints to use it. So that this body will get into good habits of meditation and prayers. There was by Rajgopal, he had given a nice talk on cloning a saint in us, it is, so we can fill ourselves with that, let the saint work in our body. So that is very beneficial. Whereas, if some criminal snatches it, gets away, many crimes are done in this way, especially to hoodwink the police. What they do is first steal a car. Steal a car and then commit the crime, leave the car there to be easily located by the cops. And then what happens? The police, whose is this car? Must be the criminal, come on. By that time that the fellow proves his innocence, that I wasn't driving, I was not, the car got stolen. But will be questioned a lot before accepting this explanation. So, it is like that, somebody's body is used like car is used, Many times a person gets identified with the car, that, Abhijit, is he here? Well, somebody says his car is here. Well, he may not be here, he took some other car and went out to do shopping or whatever. It is because you cannot fix the car with the person in it. Similarly, you cannot really tie a person with a body. Another. Now, if suppose you have a very specific car key and you have locked it well, without your permission, nobody can use it. Well, that is a good way to protect it, maybe. But then for every lock, there are the breakers of the locks also. There is no lock that can never be broken. So it is, thus we have to take care that keep the body always occupied, always use it, never let it be without use. Even in sleep, therefore, they say, keep on repeating the name of the God. Let it go on repeated. So, the body is not free to be taken by somebody. It is always occupied. But that's a different question. And it is not exactly the topic of today. What I wanted to tell, this understanding of this opens up, and very forcefully opens up this knowledge that we are not the body. Again, and this helps us to get liberated from it. We cannot get liberated from body if we have this congealed misconception that I am body. Now there is no liberation from body if I am body. Do you get it, friends? It is, if I am body, how can I be liberated from it? But I am using the body, and then therefore I am separate from it, just as I am separate from this shirt. Ah, in Bhagavad Gita, you know that it is said that the body is another garment, just a garment, just a garment, and it is thus can be taken out easily. Why we are not able to take out easily is only because of this identification. I am body, and therefore through proper meditative practices. There comes the meditation practice. Logic can convince you, but that is not the tool that will let you separate from the body. That tool is the meditation tool. Like logically and looking at Google these shows, YouTube shows how an instrument that can be repaired, some appliance, how it can be repaired. You can know that. But to actually do that repair, you require the tools. Which are not there on looking at YouTube, that it doesn't, you have to go and buy those tools physically. So exactly like that logic, understanding are important. They will let us know that we are not body theoretically, but separating oneself from the body requires the tools called meditation, prayer, feeling our true divine self, and thus we will be able to do that, friends. As I mentioned in the beginning, I do not expect an agreement on what I am saying, except a few points, but I request you to think about it and see how we can use it for our spiritual development. We will meditate on this idea for a few seconds, and then in case if you have questions, you can ask. I don't know if I will be able to answer all the questions, but we will at least get to listen to the questions. Yes, please.
There are 4 questions. First question, Jyoti Champanerkar. Actually, question from Abhijit.
Okay.
Use the phrase soul plus subtle and causal body. What is the definition of soul?
There is no definition as such. It is beyond definitions. It is the conscious entity, that is the soul. The conscious entity is called soul. That's it, There is, to see that we are conscious beings. So there is, by examination we see that the bodies, like the gross body, subtle body, causal body, they are just inert. They get filled with consciousness only due to the connection with this self, and that is soul. That reflection of consciousness in these subtle body is called the soul. That is how Kathopanishad tells it, that this jiva or bhokta is the all-pervading self, limited by this mind and the senses. That is called the soul. Yes.
Next question from Fred Richardson. Are the terms causal body, Anandmay Kosh, and Sakshi synonymous?
The Anandamaya Kosh and causal body, they are synonymous. But the Sakshi is the soul, who is actually separate from all these. So that is it only sees without getting entangled. Yes, so that is not Sakshi, the subtle body or the causal body. Causal body is not Sakshi. It is not witness self. It is different, yeah. But it is same as the Anandamaya Kosha, yeah.
Number of questions increase, Maharaj. So just
Come on, let us hear them.
next question from Abhijit again. You mentioned that the separation of I and the world is in the causal body.
Yes.
If this separation is not perceived in the causal body, what proof or praman is used in saying anything about the causal body?
Yes, that's a very good question. And in describing the causal body, I had mentioned that it doesn't have any attributes to describe, because all the attributes they are at the subtle body and then gross body level. There is no attribute, but by inference one has the idea of a causal body, because what happens is in Vedanta and in Sankhya also, it is seen that the separation of I and world, this is the basic that principle where the ignorance steps in. Because of ignorance, the all-pervading I appears to be limited, and the world is seen. And therefore, this is the cause of everything else, so therefore this gets called as the causal body, this separation, I and the world. That is the primary ignorance. The all-pervading self is seen as I and world separated. So this separation therefore gets called causal body, and this separation, there is a variety, infinite variety in the separation. That is why, although there are no attributes to the causal body that we can describe, yet we can say that they are separate. They are not same in all bodies. It is how you know? The reason is that when you wake up from sleep, not from sleepwalking, our regular sleep I am talking about, you wake up, then when you were sleeping you were not aware of that anything else around you, but then when you get up with the same ignorance, same awareness, same specific desires again come to you. You do not, you go to sleep as Abhijit, and then you don't wake up as Kabir, you see. It is, you wake up as Abhijit. So, it's like that. That shows that there is a difference, because in the deep sleep you are having neither the function of the gross body nor of subtle body, but only causal body. And then since you wake up separately, it is seen that the causal bodies are separate, yet we have no way to designate them. Next
question from Swapna Ray. Maharaj, Heisenberg's principle of uncertainty dictates this duality. Then, if I need to meditate, I need my body at the same time. Is it a paradox?
It is not a paradox. You need the body to go beyond the body. It is to you use the body. Just as you are using your clothings, you are using a space to meditate, so also you are using the body to meditate, but disidentify with it. I am not it. So that is the idea. You use the body, don't get identified it. See, therefore we have these two words, I and mine. I and mine. Mine is not I. It can be separated. We use the word my body, isn't it? That means I am not same as body. Our language also tells us that. I say that my nose. Nobody says I nose. It is my shirt. I don't say I shirt. My car, not I car. There is one exception. iPhone. We don't say just my phone. iPhone. Anyway, it is. So this is how my means you can separate it from you. It can be yours also, mine also, somebody else's also. That yes, it is my phone, but I gave it to somebody. My son has it now, it is no more my. It used to be my, but no more my. Like the car that once upon a time Shrikanta used to call, our devotee Shrikanta used to call my car. Now our Sara calls it as my car. That is how it is. My can be separated, but I cannot be separated from ourselves. That is how you use the body for meditation. Yeah.
Last question from Lakshman Thakur. Maharaj, who controls our dreams? How should we get good dreams?
Just as who controls your waking state, the same being controls your dream also. Do you know who controls your waking state? You are asking question about dream. Who controls my dream? As if you know who controls your waking state. Do you? The same being who controls your waking state also controls your dream state. Yeah. So, thank you, friends. We will conclude now by telling the topics or the programs upcoming, and then we will have Arati, and then meditation. Okay, February 28th, the last Sunday coming up. That is, last means not the gone one. In English, funny language. Last Sunday also means past Sunday. But what I want to say here is the upcoming Sunday, which is the last one in February. So the topic for discussion on that afternoon is ups and downs in spiritual life. So the Tuesday and Friday classes will go on as usual at 7:30 p.m. Tuesday the topic is Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play, and Fridays it is Srimad Bhagavatam, stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. The other meditation and prayers every morning and evening, they are going on as usual. So let us conclude with the closing prayers. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.
graciousness sublime, all noble ends you give to us, granting us refuge, all seeing Gauri. O Mother Divine, our love to you. Creation, preservation, dissolution are your powers, eternal one. Nature's real basis, nature's essence. O Mother Divine, our love to you. We come seeking refuge from anguish. Be our Savior through your deep concern. All our suffering remove, Goddess. O Mother Divine, our love to you. Victory, O Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Jai Shri Ram Krishna Deva Ki Jai, Jai Shri Sarada Devi Ki Jai, Jai Shri Swami Vivekananda Ki Jai, Jai Shri Buddha Deva Ki Jai, Jai Shri Jesus Christ Ki Jai.